My name is John Landis, and years ago, I made a documentary about one semester in the life of the Delta Tau Chi fraternity at Faber College, Pennsylvania. Universal Studios is releasing an anniversary DVD of the Delta House documentary, and we thought it would be interesting to locate the film's subjects and see where they are now.
It's a fraternity party. I'm in the fraternity. How can I miss it?
I'll write you a note. I'll say you're too well to attend.
It's funny. Very funny.
We located Donald Schoenstein in New York City.
Well, getting thrown out of school is probably the best thing that ever happened to me because I had had enough. Katie and I got one into our incredible arguments, and I took off and I was hanging around Europe for about a year. Came home, wasn't sure what I wanted to do, bumped into Katie, and we decided, well, I was wrong. I had to admit I was wrong, and we got married. It was really great. Then in '69, we got divorced. Probably didn't see each other for a long time. Then I think we got together again. We got married in '74 for the second time. And I think we did pretty good for about 11 years. And of course, we got into one of those arguments like we always did. And we divorced. So then some time went by. And I don't know, I've been working as a documentarian, having a pretty good life. Occasionally I work on some feature films, pay the bills. And then I guess about 11 years ago, I got married again, got a kid, and feeling pretty good. Here she is now. Hey, hon.
Hey.
Sweetie pie, how you doing?
Good.
Third time's the charm, they say. He's asking questions about school, so
Yeah.
he wants to hear about all the old gang.
I stayed at school for a while. We kind of tried to work this all out and couldn't make it work. Then, you know, we ended up back together again and got remarried. That time,
I don't know.
What was it?
The second time that we broke up?
Yeah.
I'm sure it had something to do with politics. I can't remember exactly. Yeah.
Politics.
No? Oh, I'm saying that was somebody else. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was thinking of somebody else.
That
My
was your
mistake.
other wife.
No, I've only been married to you. I would only marry you. You know that.
Third time's a charm. They
Well, we
say.
had to get married the third time because Katie got pregnant and...
We just ran into each other on the
one of those
sidewalk
things.
one day,
Yeah.
and we ended up back at my apartment. And,
One thing led to another, and now we're a family.
I just dropped Otis off at school, so he's smart as a whip. He's
Comes from
smart
our
as
side
a
of the
whip,
family.
Our son.
Yeah.
I think this marriage, I think it's gonna last.
Oh, yeah.
This time.
Well, it's going to have to because I've spent so much money on weddings. It's like, that's why I'm so broke.
Hi, Larry.
Hi.
Welcome to Omega House.
Thank you. Nice to...
Why don't we just go inside and meet some of the guys, huh?
A wimp and a blimp. I am so excited about our up-and-coming Faber class reunion that I can barely keep my mind on my job. Fortunately, I got the kind of job you can do even if you don't have a mind. And the table to your left is the table used in my dinner with Andre. And the table right there, that's the dining room table that was in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. And the next table right next to that, that was the table in Dinner at 8. Now, there's the separate tables from the movie of the same name. All of these tables have been declared national treasures by President and movie star Ronald Reagan, which means that no food can ever be served on them again. As the chairperson for the Alumni Association, I intend to make this year the best reunion ever. See, now I look at a reunion kind of like a report card of life. Okay, it allows the fellow classmates to look in on everybody and see who's making something out of their lives and who the really big losers are. Here we are in Amity Island, and ooh, and there's Joe. When it comes to my life, well, there's not much to tell. I have been married and divorced from 2 men. And this is where Stanley Kubrick filmed his epic picture Spartacus, starring Kirk Douglas. All these roads were lined with crosses all the way down because in ancient Rome, crucifixion was a very common form of punishment. Well, the story goes that they didn't call up enough extras that day, and so the MCA executives had to climb up on those crosses for hours at a time. You know, when you marry this kind of man, the term job security takes on a whole new meaning. That's why I am so grateful to have worked here at Universal Tour and Theme Park ever since I graduated from Faber. Now there you can see the famous house that Alfred Hitchcock used in his charming comedy Psycho. Well, apparently, Janet Leigh has not washed herself since that scary shower scene in the movie, and you can smell her coming from blocks away. It's just kidding. Of course, now the job can wear on you sometimes. There are little kids who get sick and they puke and it's so gross. And then there's adults and they always think that I know the movie stars. Maybe one or two, but... And there are the supervisors who care less about this park than I do.
Have you ever thought of quitting?
What? And give up show business? Oh.
Next slide, please, D-Day.
We located Kent Dorfman in Cleveland, Ohio.
Well, the great battle of my life ever since childhood was my weight. In the 70s, I tried the diet where you take the urine of pregnant women and you inject it. And, besides it being uncomfortable and painful from the injections, try explaining that to a police officer that the track marks on your arm are from the urine of pregnant women. Because I got in trouble once. I asked a pregnant woman, I offered her actually to buy her lunch in exchange for just a little cup of her urine that I could use in my battle of the bulge, so to speak. And, that was an unfortunate incident. I do regret asking her out to lunch. I just should have just asked for the urine straight. I run the encounter groups of Cleveland, Ohio, and we've been very successful. I went through the EST program with Mike Tyson, actually. I was my first celebrity, and he didn't grasp the concept of S. So when I was doing my part, I called him an asshole, and I was beaten savagely by him. But, it turned out okay because I was able to take that savage beating and turn it into a very positive experience because I grew, spiritually. And I think Mike he has an anger problem.
Are you happy?
I'm ecstatically happy. There is one area of my life that, I'm still waiting to meet the right woman. I don't know what it is, but I dated an Inuit at one time, but it's just, going to meet her family, and it was just very cold. And, but I thought she was Mrs. Right, but, I guess she was wrong. But there's always the future.
Mrs. Wormer, I'm so glad you could come.
Not the crap. Give me a drink.
We located Marion Wormer in Chicago, Illinois.
I'm sure you remember who I am. I'm Marion Wormer, and I was married to Vernon Wormer, the dean of Faber College, all those long years ago. I was bored with the academic life. It really wasn't very interesting for me. There was this parade one day. Vernon took the blame for that whole thing, and he was fired, and then things really got very bad with us. Even before that, there was a problem because I went to this party
with this cute guy. And I got a little drunk and we had a little fun, and Vernon found out about it and I got in big trouble with Vernon. I haven't had any work done. Would you like to have a drink?
No, thank you.
Oh. Why not? What are you doing later? Huh?
We like to do for you now a tune entitled Shamalama Ding Dong.
We caught up with Otis Day after a performance in a club on Beale Street in Memphis, Tennessee. Do you remember performing at the Delta House?
No.
In Delta Tau Chi fraternity at Faber College?
Is that a club?
No, it was a fraternity.
No, I played at a lot of fraternities, yeah. A lot of them. Delta. Doesn't ring a bell at all.
You married?
No, but I really have 4 grandchildren. 5, 6, 7.
What are their names?
Oh, God. Let me see. Ray Ray, Shaquanda, La Renee, Marquise, Devontae, Aaron, Skylar. Yeah.
Otis Day Nights had a hit.
Yeah.
In '63, you had Shamalama Ding Dong.
Shamalama Ding Dong, yeah. And then Shout, which was originally done by the Ozzy Brothers, and then the Beatles done it. But then ours was, I'm happy to say that ours was bigger than theirs. Yeah. I didn't know Shout was gonna be that big. Shout is crazy. It's the mothership. It's the motherload. I'm glad about that one.
Well, sure. Everybody I talk to says Omega's the best, but I hate to seem, pushy.
Mr. Landis, this audio tape is in response to your letter regarding my life since Faber College. I was unable to serve my country in Vietnam as my father was a major financial contributor to various conservative politicians. After learning of the tragic loss of my Omega brother, Douglas Niedermeyer, in the jungles of Southeast Asia, I must confess I grew cynical, and after earning my MBA, was a dope-smoking, hard-drinking yuppie all through my 20s. It was then, after my 30th birthday, that I started seeing Jesus in my food. The first time I saw him was in my sunny side up eggs. Later, at a Chinese restaurant, our Lord and Savior stuck his head out from under some beef and broccoli. Next time I saw him was in a hamburger. There he was, lying right between the burger and the bun. So, one day, I set mousetraps for him. When I woke up the next morning, I checked all of the traps, and they were all the same. The cheese was gone, but the traps were still set. That was the day I accepted Christ as my Savior, and I was born again. Enclosed are some snapshots of me here in Africa on my present mission. I am preaching the good word to Africans, even if they are ignorant and don't speak English. My next position will be to bring enlightenment to Iraq and all of those troublesome Iraqis. So, God bless. Sincerely, the Reverend Chip Diller.
Excuse me. My kid can't see. Is it all right if he stands in front of you?
No. We found Curtis Fuller, or Hardbar, in his place of business in Hollywood, California. So, Hardbar, what have you been doing since you left Faber College?
Well, the original idea was to get together with my roommate Stork, start a business. He was going to invent things, I was going to market them, but Stork bit the big one and is gone, and so there went that plan, and I became a writer, and I wrote novels, and in fact, I wrote over 100 novels in 5 years. I know that sounds very impressive, but actually it was pretty much the same novel every time, same sorts of things happening in it, different titles. And then I sustained a wrist injury. That was from the typing, you understand.
We were on double secret probation, whatever that is. We can't afford to have a toga party.
Everybody's feeling great. We visited Robert Hoover in his office in Baltimore, Maryland.
Well, I have a pretty good life here in Baltimore. I have 4 kids. One's adopted. He's the less attractive one. I have a wife. I have 2 cars, season tickets to the Ravens games. I have a Jack Russell Terrier who can play chopsticks on the piano. I have pretty much everything a man could want. I love my work. Let me see, the first 9 years I was a public defender. I kind of saw myself as Gregory Peck in To Kill a Mockingbird, but that turned out not to be the case. One day, I was defending this guy who was accused of stealing dentures from old people. He would run down the street and he would literally pull the dentures right out of their mouths. So we're chasing this guy down, and we go back to his apartment, and we go in there, and he's got like 40,000 teeth in there. So I said to him, "What are you going to do with all these teeth?" And he looks at me and he says, "You know, I haven't really thought that far ahead." That's when I had an epiphany. I realized, I said, "Hoover, the people that you are defending really should not be out on the streets." So I became an assistant district attorney here in Baltimore, and I love it. I mean, I don't want to brag, but I have actually become one of the best district attorneys in the country. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office actually called me to get advice on the O.J. Simpson prosecution. And for what it's worth, some of their key strategies, my idea.
Put Niedermeyer on it. He's a sneaky little shit just like you, right? The time has come for someone to put his foot down. And that foot is me.
We found Dean Vernon Wormer in Sarasota, Florida.
Dean Wormer.
Who the hell are you?
Sir, it's John Landis. We had an appointment to interview you.
Oh, Larry. Did you bring the money?
No, not Larry. Landis, John Landis.
Larry Landis.
John Landis.
The proctologist.
The director.
Why would a proctologist need a director?
We made an appointment to interview you about your days as Dean of Faber College.
Oh, I love Dean Martin. You ever see Rio Bravo? I knew that if he would ever stop drinking, they'd make him sheriff again.
Dean Wormer, do you remember anything about Faber College? The campus, the faculty?
Who the hell are you, anyway?
Do you remember anything about the Deltas?
The Deltas. Butarski. You're a son of a bitch. Stratton. Oh, you're a bastard. Oh, and Shenstein, the little prick, and Mr. Hoover, that shithead. Dorfman, little fat turd.
Maybe we should come back another time.
Daniel Simpson Day. Oh, you degenerate faggot. Get your hands off me, you faggot. No. And get away. Get out of my life.
I just don't think I should be alone tonight. Would you go out with me?
I'll get my coat.
And could you get 3 dates for my friends?
Dr. Stratton?
Ah, Mr. Landis. Good to see you.
I was wondering how life's been treating you since Faber.
Well, I am proud to say I've been lucky enough to make a very nice living during my career in gynecology. I feel like I'm doing good work. And I'm constantly seeing beautiful things and meeting interesting people. As for the old otter, I must say that well, my college days are behind me, and I'm calmed down quite a bit.
Dr. Stratton, I'm ready for my examination.
Well, I think I better get in there before her insurance runs out.
hardest to locate was D-Day. The rumors of his whereabouts were numerous. One story had him living in a Buddhist monastery in the Himalayas. Another had him panning for gold in the Yukon. Another said he had gone to sea, trying to drown the memory of a love affair gone sour. Some say he works as an Elvis impersonator in Las Vegas, Nevada. And still another rumor had him working as an undercover agent in an Al-Qaeda training camp. With the help of Interpol, we were able to locate him in this abandoned tract house in Modesto, California.
Hey, D-Day? What? Who are you talking? I don't know no D-Day guy. You got bad information. He's not in this house. I told you I don't know this guy. I don't know this guy, pendejo. Get away from here. Get away. I don't know this guy. You got the wrong house, the wrong guy, the wrong place.
And of course, we all know what happened to Mandy Pepperidge and John Plutarski. They are now the President and First Lady of the United States of America.
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
Animal House. Animal House. Animal House. Animal House. Animal House.
Throwing them out into the street so that cars like hit them and the paint goes flying all over the place.
That's at least creative.
Well, Otis took a little thing of paint and was about to throw it, and the cap flew off and it went all over somebody's car on the side of the street. And the woman just happened to be scared.
He's not my son. He's not my son.
Animal House. Animal House.
And if you see any of the other Deltas, please, please do say hello to them for me. But if you could you ask them to stay away from Baltimore? I don't need the aggravation.
Animal House. Animal House. Animal House. Animal House.
Taxi!
Animal House. Animal House. Animal House. Animal House. Animal House. Animal House.
They're in my heart, and I always have fond memories of all my Delta buddies, and I hope to speak to them one day.
Move to your left a little. Good.